The journey of seeking deep and lasting joy often begins with an intricate dance between holding tight and letting go. Life unfolds, and in the midst of its twists and turns, we are constantly faced with choices that shape our inner peace and fulfillment. Let me start by asking, what are you currently gripping so tightly that it strains your heart? Or what have you let slip through your fingers out of fear of grasping too tightly? I often think of life as a flowing river. Imagine standing in its midst, surrounded by currents that represent every decision, attachment, and belief we hold on to. Sometimes, the urge to grab a passing branch feels overwhelming, as if it's the only thing tethering us to stability. But what if that branch, while offering temporary security, is blocking you from experiencing the river's true current? Could the act of releasing be the gateway to freedom? We all carry branches in our own lives, relationships, dreams, fears. How do we discern what to hold tight to and what to release? To hold tight is not inherently wrong. Clutching to what we value, what nourishes us, is natural. It is the desire to protect what we love, to anchor ourselves when the wind threatens to sweep us away. Yet the paradox lies in our inability to see the fine line where holding tight transforms from strength into resistance. Reflect for a moment. Is what you're holding onto serving your growth, or is it anchoring you in shallow waters? Sometimes, the more tightly we hold, the more pain we invite. As if trying to keep sand from slipping through our fingers, the tighter the grasp, the faster it escapes. We need to cultivate the wisdom to know when to hold tight and when to let go. Holding tight can be powerful, like the roots of an ancient tree anchoring you to your deepest truths. But at what cost if you're unable to release what no longer serves you? Consider moments of resentment or anger, emotions so potent they can consume our joy. When we hold on to these feelings, thinking we're preserving justice or protecting ourselves, we instead end up trapped. Release, in this case, becomes an act of liberation, not weakness. Can you recall a time when letting go set you free? When you let go of something that once defined you, it can feel like standing at the edge of a great abyss. Fear grips us, whispering that we'll be left with nothing but the hollow echo of loss. But this fear is often an illusion. Think of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. It must release the comfort of the chrysalis, that familiar cocoon, to take flight. Holding tight to the past would mean never discovering its wings. Are there parts of your life that you need to shed to become who you are truly meant to be? To discern what to hold on to and what to release requires mindfulness. Take a deep breath and reflect on the attachments that fill your mind and heart. Ask yourself, is this attachment rooted in fear, or is it born from love? This question can reveal much about the nature of our connections. Holding tight to love is an act of courage, a bond that strengthens us. But holding on to fear, whether fear of change, loss, or judgment, drains our energy. I challenge you to sit quietly, even for just a few moments, and ask yourself, what fears have I been holding on to, and how can I release them? Holding tight and letting go also apply to our dreams and ambitions. Have you ever set your heart so firmly on an outcome that any deviation felt like failure? The truth is, life rarely unfolds exactly as planned. We grip tightly to expectations, believing they are the only path to happiness. But what if, in releasing our rigid attachment, we discover a new, unexpected path that leads to even greater fulfillment? I once heard a story about a man who dreamed of becoming a musician. For years, he struggled, holding tight to his vision of fame. Only when he let go of that singular expectation did he find joy in teaching music, touching countless lives. Sometimes release is the key that unlocks unexpected doors. What doors might be waiting for you to open them? As we progress, the practice of discerning when to hold tight and when to release becomes an art. It's not about abandoning responsibility or drifting aimlessly. Instead, it's about flowing with life's currents, knowing when to anchor ourselves and when to let go with grace. To release is to trust in the vastness of life's possibilities. To hold tight is to commit wholeheartedly to what truly matters. But how do we know we've made the right choice? The answer often comes in silence, in the space between breaths, where intuition and heart wisdom speak. Are you willing to listen? The practice of holding tight and letting go mirrors the ebb and flow of life's tides. Joy and pain, like waves, rise and fall. They wash over us, leaving imprints that shape who we are. At times, joy feels so profound that we want to grasp it forever. Other times, pain pierces so deeply that we wish we could push it away entirely. But herein lies one of life's greatest paradoxes. To truly embrace joy, we must also be willing to sit with pain. To resist or cling too fiercely to either state may leave us adrift, unable to experience the fullness of life's vast ocean. So, how do we navigate these tides with grace? Consider joy first. When joy enters your life, it can be intoxicating, like the warmth of sunlight after a long winter. The instinct to hold it tightly is natural. After all, who wouldn't want to preserve moments of pure happiness? But have you ever noticed that joy often slips through your grasp the harder you cling? Perhaps it's because joy, by its very nature, is fleeting. It comes to remind us of life's beauty, to illuminate the sacredness of being alive. When we allow joy to flow without attachment, it becomes a wellspring that nourishes us long after the moment has passed. Think back to a joyful moment in your life. Did it fade faster when you tried desperately to hold on to it? Could you have let it flow more naturally, savoring its essence without needing it to last forever? The same principle applies to pain. Pain, unlike joy, is something we often push away or suppress. It's uncomfortable, raw, and vulnerable. Yet, paradoxically, when we resist pain, we give it more power over us. Imagine a clenched fist. It can hold tightly, but it cannot receive anything new. By opening our hands, by softening to pain, we create space for healing. Pain has a purpose. It can be a teacher, a guide that shows us where we need to grow. What pain have you been avoiding? What lesson might it hold for you if you allowed yourself to feel it fully? There is a certain freedom that comes with releasing both joy and pain. When we hold tight to either state, we limit ourselves to a narrow experience of life. But when we release, when we let joy inspire us and let pain transform us, we step into a space of true freedom. This freedom is not about detachment or indifference. It's about presence. It's about being fully awake to life's ups and downs without being overwhelmed by them. Reflect for a moment. How would it feel to live without fearing the loss of joy or the arrival of pain? Could that be the key to deep, lasting joy? Let's explore the concept of release further. Many of us carry burdens that weigh us down, grudges, regrets, unmet expectations. We hold these burdens close, thinking that letting go would mean giving up, admitting defeat, or forgetting. But what if release is not about forgetting, but about freeing ourselves? When we let go of resentment, we're not condoning past harm. We're choosing not to let it control us. When we release regret, we're not erasing our mistakes. We're learning to move forward with wisdom. Imagine yourself standing on a mountaintop, shedding the weights you've carried for so long. How much lighter would you feel? What heights could you reach? To hold tight can also be a source of strength when done wisely. When you commit to a goal, a value, or a person with unwavering dedication, You create a foundation for growth and resilience. Holding tight becomes an act of love, a promise to yourself and others. But even here, discernment is key. Blind attachment can lead to rigidity and fear of change. Picture a river that is dammed completely. It stagnates. Yet, a river with a mindful balance of flow and stillness nurtures everything around it. What aspects of your life are calling for this balance? Where do you need to hold tight, and where do you need to release? The art of discernment is cultivated through mindfulness. By observing your thoughts, feelings, and reactions, you begin to notice patterns. Perhaps you tend to cling to the past or anxiously anticipate the future. Mindfulness invites you to return to the present, where true joy resides. Take a moment to breathe deeply. Feel the air entering and leaving your body. Notice the sensations in your hands, your feet, your chest. What are you holding on to right now, in this very moment? Can you release it, if only for a breath? Life's tides will continue to rise and fall. There will be times of holding tight, moments of fierce commitment, determination, and love. And there will be times of release, moments of surrender, forgiveness, and transformation. Both are necessary. Both are sacred. To hold and to release is not a contradiction. It is a dance. And like any dance, it requires rhythm, grace, and trust. As you navigate this dance, remember that you are not alone. We all struggle to find this balance, to discern when to hold tight and when to release. We stumble, we fall, and we rise again. But each step, each breath, brings us closer to the essence of who we are. Let me leave you with a question to ponder deeply. What would your life look like if you trusted yourself fully, to hold when needed and to release when called? The courage to trust. Faith in life's natural flow and the wisdom of your own heart. Trust is the invisible thread that weaves through the tapestry of our lives. It connects us to ourselves, to others, and to the greater mysteries that unfold beyond our understanding. To know when to hold tight and when to release requires more than discernment. It demands courage and an unshakable trust in life's natural flow. But how do we cultivate this trust, especially in moments of uncertainty, fear, or deep loss? Let's begin with trusting ourselves. Many of us have been taught to doubt our instincts, to question our feelings, and to suppress our inner voice. Over time, this self-doubt can create a rift within us, making it difficult to know when to act and when to let go. I ask you, when was the last time you truly trusted yourself? Perhaps it was a fleeting moment, a decision made on impulse, or a quiet knowing that led you through the dark. How did it feel? Trusting yourself is an act of profound bravery. It requires you to honor your inner wisdom, even when the world around you says otherwise. What would change in your life if you gave yourself permission to trust more deeply? To hold tight with trust means standing firmly in your truth, even when doubts arise. It means listening to your intuition and acting with conviction. This kind of trust does not blind you to reality. Instead, it anchors you in your purpose. Consider a tree that weathers a storm. Its roots hold tight to the earth, providing stability, while its branches sway and bend with the wind. The tree does not resist change. It adapts while remaining true to itself. In the same way, when we hold tight with trust, we stay grounded in our values while remaining open to life's shifting winds. Reflect on a challenge you're facing now. What would it look like to hold tight to your core values while allowing the circumstances around you to evolve? Releasing with trust, on the other hand, requires an even deeper surrender. It asks you to let go of control, to place faith in the unknown. This can be terrifying, especially when it involves letting go of a relationship, a dream, or a belief that once defined you. But consider this. What if release is not about losing, but about making space for something greater? Imagine your hands are full of old, worn-out objects. To receive new gifts, you must first set down what no longer serves you. The act of releasing, then, is not a defeat. It is an opening, a clearing for new possibilities to enter. What might you be holding on to out of fear? And what would happen if you released it with trust? Trusting life's natural flow means embracing uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, filled with twists and turns we cannot foresee. Trying to control every outcome only leads to frustration and suffering. When we release our need for control, we open ourselves to the magic of the unknown. Think of the most unexpected moments in your life, the ones that changed everything. Were they planned? Or did they arrive unbidden, like gifts wrapped in mystery? Trusting the flow of life means accepting that we cannot see the full picture, but we can trust that every experience, whether joyful or painful, serves a purpose. How might your life transform if you trusted that everything is unfolding exactly as it should? To cultivate this trust, we must practice surrendering our fears. Fear is the voice that tells us we are not safe, that we must hold tight to protect ourselves. But fear, when left unchecked, becomes a prison. It keeps us small, trapped in familiar patterns. To release fear, we must first acknowledge it. Sit quietly with your fear. Listen to its whispers. What is it trying to protect you from? Once you understand its purpose, you can choose to release it with compassion, knowing that you are strong enough to face whatever comes. Can you imagine what it would be like to live without fear guiding your every decision? Holding tight and releasing are not isolated acts. They are part of an ongoing dance of trust. There will be times when you stumble, when doubt creeps in, when you question whether you've made the right choice. This is natural. Trust is not a destination. It is a journey, one that unfolds moment by moment. It requires patience, resilience, and a willingness to learn from every experience. Even when trust feels fragile, remember that it can grow stronger with each act of courage. What small step can you take today to strengthen your trust in yourself, in life, or in those around you? Trusting others can be one of the hardest challenges we face. People are imperfect. They make mistakes. They let us down. But to close ourselves off from connection is to deny one of the greatest sources of joy in life. To trust others is to risk vulnerability. To open your heart even when there is no guarantee of safety. Yet, it is through this vulnerability that true connection is born. When we hold tight to our boundaries while releasing our need for control, we create space for authentic relationships to flourish. Who in your life could benefit from a little more trust, and how might that trust transform your connection? The courage to trust extends beyond ourselves and others. It touches the very essence of our spiritual journey. Trusting in a higher power, in the wisdom of the universe, or in the interconnectedness of all things requires humility. It asks us to acknowledge that we are part of something greater, that we do not have all the answers. This kind of trust is not blind faith. It is a deep knowing that everything we experience, both light and dark, serves a purpose. It is the belief that even in our darkest moments, we are not alone. When was the last time you felt a sense of connection to something greater? How did it change the way you saw yourself and the world around you? As we come to the close of this reflection, I invite you to sit with these questions. Where in your life do you need to hold tight with trust? And where do you need to release? What fears are keeping you from trusting more fully? And how can you cultivate the courage to trust yourself, others, and life itself, even when it feels impossible? The answers may not come immediately, but they will come if you listen with an open heart. Thank you for your patience and for journeying with me. If you need further insights or a different exploration, feel free to let me know.